Ayy, run up, ain't no one-on-one. Ayy, rockin' black Air Force Ones. Ayy. Nigga don't run and them bullets gon' kiss you. Pop me nigga know, just like a tissue. Hit from the back, then I dismiss you.
Bow man, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Lotto. Check me out here, man. We're here with Kid Nerd, Marley Strip, most dangerous in East London. Marley, Somali, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we're here with some different songs. You know, it's time to change up the concept just a little bit, man. You know, get into some interesting documentaries, man. Because these are the videos I honestly watch when I'm not reacting, you feel me? When I'm not listening to UK music, I like listening to documentaries, studies, all that weird, nerdy shit. But anyway, let's get straight into it, man.
What's up, guys? Your boy Kid Nerd here, back with another video. And today we're talking about the Marley Strip. Now, a hell of a lot of you guys have requested for this video, so let's try and smash 1k likes for my next video. And guys, if you remember last video, I said follow my Insta for a prize. I actually had to blur out my Insta in the video, because you guys are going absolutely brazy with the follow requests. Nearly 200 of you guys requested me. But today's winner is Pringles PRVT. So if that's you, please send me a message and collect your prize. But I actually made a new Insta. Should be on the screen now. Follow that one, and I'll pick a random follower for the chance to win a £50 Amazon gift card. One last thing as well. Everything I talk about in these videos are public knowledge, by the way. I'm not spewing any secrets or underground information, just a quick disclaimer for all my videos. Anyway, let's get into this video. Now, Marley Strip is a gang from the Leighton and Walthamstow area. There's actually two different sets that make up this gang. L Tizzy, which reps the E10 postcode, and SJ, which reps the E17 postcode. Now I mention postcodes, I mean more where the gangs are based rather than rep. Unlike a lot of other gangs in London nowadays, Marley Strip doesn't really beef over the area you're from. Their beefs are all drug and revenge related, which is how gangs should be, technically speaking. I'm not encouraging any type of gang activity, of course, but obviously it does make sense why a gang would have an issue with another gang if they're stopping them from making money. Now, the Marley Strip gang control most of the drugs being served in the areas, but this wasn't always the case. See, most Marley Strip older members originated from another group called the Booming Boys, who were originally a Jamaican-based gang who used to run the area. The Booming Boys are based in an estate in East London called Booming Road, and they're the longest established gang in the area, and are thought to have around 100 members. In the late 90s especially, they were seen as the most dominant gang in the area, but the Booming gang has always had issues with neighbouring gangs in the area, like the Oliver Close gang, or OCG, when a member of OCG robbed a member of Booming Boys over a dispute over drugs. So the Booming crew around these times was the biggest gang in the area, because of the size of their estate. But because they were beefing so many different smaller areas, they were starting to get outnumbered. Estates are the UK version of the projects, if you don't know. And just like what we're seeing a lot now with these older crime-ridden estates, a lot of Booming is now being demolished and refurbished in an attempt to gentrify the area and push more lower income families further away from London. So it's got to the point where pretty much all members of the Booming gang don't actually live on the Booming estate anymore. And this is a reality for pretty much most gangs in London right now. Many blocks which had high gang activity have now been demolished and rebuilt, which means most original gang members will be forced to relocate, and gang leaders will have to recruit new people from neighbouring areas. But because of Booming's big reputation, recruiting wasn't really an issue for them. But anyway, yeah, Booming Boys included a lot of these Marley Strip members, until they split from the gang and created their own organisation. This is more than likely to create their own drug lines and territory, or it could have been because of personal reasons inside the gang itself. But either way, Marley Strip now beefed the Booming Boys gang over territory. Now, what a lot of people don't know about the Marley Strip gang, it isn't just a Somali gang, despite the name Marley Strip. The founding members of the gang were Somali, but there's all different types of races and ethnicities who were part of the gang. Now, Marley Strip has caused such a massive disruption to the borough, because these guys are really some savages, and they've managed to clean up a lot of drug trade in the area, while also running county line operations outside of London, where it said they also operate in Essex, and even all the way to Scotland. And they've caused such a massive disruption that they're literally beefing the whole of their borough. So they're from a borough called Waltham Forest, and if you don't know what boroughs are, they're pretty much sections in London. I think there's around 32 boroughs in London, and the main gangs in the borough apart from Marley Strip are the Booming crew, LGR, Priory Court and Higham Hill. And Marley Strip are literally beefing all of these gangs. Some of these gangs literally set aside their beef just to focus on beefing Marley Strip, which means these guys must be really putting on some pressure.
Hi, my brother.
Connect your store.
Hey, my man is getting the bag, man. I can't complain, man. Get the bag, my boy.
But Marley Strip isn't the only Somalian-based gang that have shown their ruthlessness. Other Somali gangs like Aga Grove in Camden have also shown they're not to play with. And this isn't just a UK thing. Somali gangs were
so they all in the same area, or he's just referencing them like Somalis are fucking insane?
dominated a lot of other countries like Sweden and Canada, where they operate mass drug operations over there as well, and have a big reputation of being quite savage. But when we look into the history of Somalia, we can start to see why. Like, these Somali-born people would have been surrounded by violence most of their life, with constant civil wars, conflicts with Ethiopia, and piracy taking over the country. I guess a lot of these Somali gang members are just a product of their environment, which is sad because deep down, Somalis are one of the most funny and genuine people you'll meet. But anyway, back to Marley Strip. So as I said, they're pretty much beefing their whole borough, but they have made little alliances, like a smaller gang in the area called the DM crew. And when I say alliances, I mean pretty much absorbing the gang. Because Marley Strip is such a massive group, they've managed to take over smaller gangs and building their enterprise, which can work good on the money side of things, but can cause a lot of trouble for the gangs as well. Sometimes this creates sort of a divide.
Bro, hold on. I'm so sorry, but the gifts, like the video itself is so funny. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the dances they are doing are dumb hard, bro. That was random, but I cannot get my eyes off this video. Like, whoever this dude is, I remember this dude, I forgot his name, but his dance moves is hard, right?
Between gangs, like the Somalian gang TPO in North London. They have two completely different sets branch out the gang, which both beef each other, which is hella weird because they both roll with the same name TPO, and it's just like 1 minute you're friends and 1 minute you're not, and it could even just be one person within that group. You could all literally be fine. There could be 10 guys from this gang, 10 guys from that gang, everyone's fine with each other, but it could literally be that one member that has a problem with another member, and they might have a fight, and then their friends are obviously going to back each other with the fight, and it could just create a massive divide. Even within that tight circle when things are getting hard, maybe there's not enough money coming through, maybe there's a drought with drugs, some people will look into their circle and think, who can we rob? But I know I refer to Marley Strip as a gang, but in reality I say they're much organised than what you would call just a normal street gang, and they have very active operations in place to stop law enforcement, and they heavily monitor police activity just to make sure they're safe. This includes waiting outside police stations to record police number plates, placing spotters around the area to warn of police presence, and even gathering police officers' information on social media to pose threats towards them. One officer noted that members were hanging out the back of their police station, and they were actively taking pictures of him while writing down his number plate, which I guess is mainly an intimidation tactic. But it's not just their drug operation which has made Marley Strip catch some attention. Their beef with rival gangs in the area is probably one of the most active in London, especially in 2018 and 19, when there was a lot of tit for tat war going on. So much back and forth that I can't even put it all into one vid. But let's go back to 2017, when an affiliate of Marley Strip was stabbed to death in Walthamstow. So his name was Elijah Donnelly, and he was a talented footballer, but obviously started getting involved in the street life. Elijah and his friend was walking down the street at night on May 7th, 2017. People say he was trapping that night in the area, but either way, two members of the Booming gang, Ezra Soros and Morgan Mockford, spotted the two while they were riding out on their bicycles. The pair then hid behind the telephone box and leaped out and stabbed Elijah in the stomach, hitting the main artery and causing his intestines to start falling out.
Let me say something, bro. I say this all the time, but you London niggas are different. Hiding behind a phone lamppost, jumping out Chingman's chest. Like, bro, stabbing somebody, shooting somebody is two different things. I can shoot somebody like 50, 60 meters afar, but I don't know what damage I done to him. I just know I hit my man. I know he just fell. In order to shank somebody, you gotta run up, sneak up on men, and inject the blade in him, feel the blade, most likely looking into his eyes, and continue jerking him up until he dies. Like, y'all niggas is crazy, bruh. Take that back a little bit.
Involved in the street life. Elijah and his friend was walking down the street at night on May 7th, 2017. People say he was trapping that night in the area, but either way, two members of the Booming gang, Ezra Soros and Morgan Mockford, spotted the two while they were riding out on their bicycles. The pair then hid behind the telephone box and leaped out and stabbed Elijah in the stomach, hitting the main artery and causing his intestines to start falling out. Elijah, after being stabbed, actually managed to run to a nearby shisha bar called Arabian Nights, but died 2 hours later from blood loss, while his friend managed to escape unharmed. And his killers have actually had a lot of
2 hours later, did he get to the hospital? Did he make it to the hospital? He just bled? Like, sheesh.
They were riding out on their bicycles. The pair then hid behind the telephone box and leaped out and stabbed Elijah in the stomach, hitting the main artery and causing his intestines to start falling out. Elijah, after being stabbed, actually managed to run to a nearby shisha bar called Arabian Nights, but died 2 hours later from blood loss, while his friend managed to escape unharmed. And his killers have actually had a lot of previous convictions from carrying knives mainly, which poses the question, do you guys think there should be harsher sentencing for knife possession? One of their attackers have actually previously been caught with a knife in 6 separate occasions, so maybe if the police had dealt with him earlier, Elijah might have not had to lose his life. Both attackers were sent to life at prison at the age of 18, so in around 20 seconds of confrontation, 3 young boys now lost their lives. Anyway, this really started to ignite the feud in the area, which saw some tit for tat from both areas, but unfortunately on March 2018, it was clear that this feud had now spiraled out of control. 3 Marley Strip members, Loic Nagiz, Hamza Ohak, and a 16-year-old boy that can't be named, were riding out on the Ox block for revenge, when they mistook a man called Joseph William Torres for a gang member called Samuel Hunter, and shot him dead in his van in Walthamstow, East London, which is obviously always sad sad to hear when an innocent person gets caught up in stuff like this. But when you compare the two, they actually look hella similar. Like the same race, the same facial features and
Jesus Christ, that's his twin? Oh man, that's an innocent soul lost, man. See, usually, damn, they look exactly alike, bro. See, I be confused when people get, like, misidentify somebody, maybe by the car or something like that. But this right here, them shooters probably thought they was spot on.
It's scary. And interestingly, the two murderers of Joseph were actually caught breaking into the home of Israel Sockers, the 18-year-old who was convicted of killing Elijah, who I mentioned before. The day after they broke into his house, the two members actually shot up an amusement arcade when they believed they saw Morgan Mutford, the other killer of Elijah. So you could already start to see where the links are between these murders, and how the first murder of Elijah has now ignited the mistaken identity killing of Joseph. It also shows how dedicated the pair was to revenge. They were still looking for revenge months after the murder. Anyway, that pair is now locked up for life. After this, the war in the area started going crazy. In one incident, a member of a local gang called Priory Court was riding out looking for Marley Strip members and chased 4 members with a loaded gun, a knife, and a
Okay.
Why you crying, Kana?
ammonia. Now they hid in the off license. Ammonia is basically acid, and what some gang members will do is squirt it into rivals' faces.
Hold on. I think I missed something.
Local gang called Priory Court was riding out looking for Marley Strip members and chased 4 members with a loaded gun, a knife, and ammonia. Now they hid in the off license. Ammonia is basically acid, and what some gang members will do is squirt it into rivals' faces, leaving scars and causing their face to peel off if strong enough. But yeah, Daniel was caught doing this and was sentenced to 15 years in prison, and was actually caught running 2 county line operations while in prison. Like, you're really got to be a serious boss to run a whole drug operation while being locked in prison. But the one murder that really started to shine light on this whole situation was the murder of 14-year-old Jayden Moodie. On the 9th of January
that's a baby.
Marley Strip members stole a Mercedes and rid out to the Beeman Boys territory. They caught 14-year-old Jayden riding around on his moped when he was out dealing drugs, and drove the car at him at a high speed and pretty much killed him instantly from impact. The Marley Strip members then jumped out the car and stabbed Jayden 9 times even though he was already dead, then fled away from the scene.
Where's my guy's parents at? Where's the family, bro? 14, bro. He did not die well at all, bro. He died just horrible. He got ran over and most likely died instantly. Then they jumped out and just chained him just to make sure he's really dead. 14, bro. 14 on the block selling drugs. And these Marley Strip members, they obviously knew who he was, bro. 14, that tender age of 14. Sometimes, bruh, it's like, man, I would call these guys fools, but I don't know what's going on. I don't really know what's going on in these guys' lives. And, you know, eventually, as you keep going, you just become desensitized. Murder, killing, drug selling, it just becomes, it's like pissing, bro. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, though. It's sad.
18. Marley Strip members stole a Mercedes and rid out to the Beeman Boys territory. They caught 14-year-old Jayden riding around on his moped when he was out dealing drugs, and drove the car at him at a high speed and pretty much killed him instantly from impact. The Marley Strip members then jumped out the car and stabbed Jayden 9 times even though he was already dead, then fled away from the scene. One of these killers being 19-year-old Ayub, he was sentenced to life for the murder. Ayub is a classic example of a kid who has had a troubled childhood, who was then groomed into joining the gang. His father died while young, and he was put into foster care, and worked under a Marley Strip county line operation. And now this young man has now got to spend the majority of his life behind bars. Now when most people think about the group Marley Strip, the rapper Richie comes to mind the most. He pretty much set the platform for the group with his song Bingo, and put his younger members on like Baby Main, who is now doing numbers. And just a side note, I think Richie is a seriously underrated rapper. Like, I don't think he's really got the recognition that he deserves. Well, allegedly, Richie was involved in a double murder of 2 drug dealers back in 2014. Now this isn't actually all confirmed and it's kind of just speculations, but Richie talks a lot in his lyrics how he beat a crazy case, and the timelines kind of match up. So in 2014, a group of 7 Marley Strip members stabbed to death 2 rival drug dealers in the East London area of Leytonstone. 4 were found guilty and 3 were found not guilty, but one member actually fled to Algeria straight after the murder. 5 years later in 2019, this same member returned to the UK to clear his name, quote unquote, and was put on trial, and was eventually found not guilty of the double murder. And this was the same year that Richie burst onto the drill scene, where
imagine having somebody traveling out of the country for a few years, coming back and then beating your case, and you turn into a rapper. This is GTA Live in effect, bro. You know, honestly, for this to be public info and for them to chat so much, I'm not surprised why a lot of these rappers do what they do, at least in the UK. I'm not sure about in the USA, but a lot of these niggas, from what I'm hearing, they be murderers, serial killers, well-known drug dealers, and they just get away with the shit. So I also be thinking like, man, maybe the government got a mission, and they just trying to use the members just to get, basically, they letting the gangs kill themselves, bro, to make their jobs easier. But who knows, bro? Because a lot of this info, like he said, a lot of this info is public, bro. So it's like, man, what are the police actually doing, bro? Are they solving these crimes or what? But y'all can let me know if they solving these crimes. I might just be chatting. This just might be one of those cases to where he just got lucky. But I'm hearing a lot of rappers talking about they bust cases, hop on the track, and they tell you what they did, bro. So it's kind of like, bro, what the fuck?
Timelines kind of match up. So in 2014, a group of 7 Marley Strip members stabbed to death 2 rival drug dealers in the East London area of Leytonstone. 4 were found guilty and 3 were found not guilty. But one member actually fled to Algeria straight after the murder. 5 years later in 2019, this same member returned to the UK to clear his name.
Like, hold on, I didn't even hear that part. 7 members, right? I think he said 4 was not guilty and 3 was guilty. No matter the numbers, it's like, how are a certain amount of the men them getting caught guilty and a certain amount of the men them are not? It's not making sense to me, bro. I mean, I don't know how complex these cases get. Maybe all 7 of them wasn't there stabbing them up, but he said all 7 of them killed 2 people. So it's like, it's not making sense to me, bro. But let's go.
Put on trial and was eventually found not guilty of the double murder. And this was the same year that Richie burst onto the drill scene, where he mentions he beat a case. Obviously he was found not guilty for the murder, so if it was him or not, either way the person managed to beat the case. But if you actually type in Richie on YouTube, you'll see all of his original songs are gone. He just straight re-uploads on there. He put a message on his Insta pretty much saying he's stepping away from the gang life and is now devoting his life to Islam, which is why he deleted all the videos. Which if that is the case, then congrats to him. It takes a lot to step out of that life and start fresh. So best of luck to him, and I hope he continues to follow that path. Whether that's actually the case or not, who knows though. We'll have to see. If you haven't noticed as well, none of these Marley Strip murderers are actually Somali. Even the Ayub was half Irish and Moroccan. So it just goes to show, even though the gang is called Marley Strip, the gang is quite diverse. So in this video, I've probably named around 5 to 10 people under the age of 20 who have either lost their life or freedom to the streets. Obviously we have sad cases like Ayub, who have had unfortunate starts to life, which has led them to make stupid decisions, which I'm sure he now regrets. But guys, cases like this are becoming way too common now. If you're watching this video and are starting to associate with some sort of gang activity or rivalries, then just stop now, please. If you're already fully involved, then fair enough. Maybe you can't be saved anymore. But this is a message to the young people who want to start getting involved or are slowly starting to get involved. Stop while you can now. These people who you think are your brothers and have got you for life, spend 5 years in prison and see which one will still be picking up your calls or sending you money. Ask someone who's doing life in prison right now, how many of his friends are still sending him money? While all these people in this video are now spending 20 years plus in prison, their old friends or gang members, whatever you want to call them, will all be getting on with their lives, starting a family, getting a job, going on holiday, while you're stuck in the box because you wanted to ride out for them same friends. Elijah's mum, who I talked about earlier in this video, says she still can't sleep at night after 3 years of her son's murder. Every day she goes to bed thinking her son will magically walk through the door and the nightmare will be done. Do you want to put someone's mother through that? And more importantly, do you want to put your own mother through that? Anyway guys, that wraps up today's video. Put in the comments what you want me to cover next. It's been your boy Kid Nerd, and peace out.
Shout out to Kid Nerd for that message, man. That's something. I would definitely say the same thing. Just to add on to that, you know, their upbringing is so fucked. They get like goddamn brainwashed, just like he said, bruh. They feel so loyal to the gang for all the wrong reasons that they're willing to kill somebody over your man's getting robbed or something while you're sitting in bin. He's out living his life. They don't give a fuck about you. And then at that time when you in jail, it's already too late. You're already away from the gang life. Then you start entering reality and you realize like, yo, I'm really in this box by myself. At the end of the day, all you got is yourself, man. I'm not telling you don't be loyal to your guys, but think before you do something. Like he said, if you M this nigga right now, not only that you increase your chance of dying, going to jail, you also just ruined somebody else's life. You took somebody else's life, somebody mama crying, somebody father crying, somebody brother crying, somebody sister crying. You just ruining a whole lot of shit, bruh. Something that could have been easily avoided if you just thought before you act. Know what I'm saying? Unless it's a self-defense case, then that's a whole different shit. But man, if you're the nigga on attack, if you could have handled the situation differently, man, then it's all your fault at the end of the day, man. And it's a whole lot lot of brothers right now in jail from the UK to Russia to America that's sitting in jail right now, young as hell, wishing they can get out, but they just can't, man, over one mistake, bro. So, man, hopefully, hey, this was a good video, Kid Nerd. Hopefully, hey, man, like you said, man, if you associated with that life and you watching this video, hopefully the message is getting to your head, man, because the men them don't care. The gal, the women, they don't care, man. They gonna hop on the next dick when your ass is in jail, bruh, because they got to, bruh. So worry about your damn self. Take care of your damn self, bro. Once again, shout out to Kid Nerd. Y'all get down in the descriptions. Let me know what y'all want to react to. I'm probably gonna react to Brixton versus Pakenham, most infamous beef in London. But my man's Nito and B, I just got the notification. He just dropped a new song, and where is it at? Where is it at? Nito and B, I'm sorry, hun. So you already know I'm about to get to that. Grrr, bow, it's your boy Lotto, man, and I'm out.